Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Studio H, the home of Victory Anger Management. I know usually when we come to you with a few anger management tips, some self esteem tips, some life goals. But today we have a special guest, and our special guest is Dr. Rachel Lewis Clay. And the reason we have her with us today is because we want to introduce her, and not just her, but her new book. So I'm going to show you the book. The book is called, oh, let me get it right now. I'm going to avoid the glare. It says Memoirs, Moving in Poetry, Prose, and Photos. And there's a few moving vehicles. I couldn't get the whole book in the screenshot at once, but I wanted you to see the whole thing. So there we go. And Dr. Rachel, you can take it from there. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. So, we're going to start out with a few basic questions. And this interview won't take long because Dr. Rachel's busy and you don't want to keep her all day. So, our first question we have for you, we're going to just jump right in. Where did you grow up? And give us a little bit of history about you and your accomplishments.
I grew up in a small town called Evington, Virginia. Not too many people know where Evington is, but you know where Lynchburg, Virginia is. And Evington is about 15 minutes from Lynchburg. Um, my accomplishments, well, I grew up in the Washington metropolitan area, and I ended up graduating from McKinley Tech High School. We called Tech the thrill upon the hill because you had to go up a lot of steps to get to Tech every morning.
Okay.
And I went on to the University of Maryland, University College for a BS degree. And then I got a master's degree from Central Michigan University, and then a PhD from Capella University in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay.
Then I went on to for a 30-year retirement in the United States government, retiring from the Justice Department. And after retirement, I went back to my alma mater, UMUC, and taught as an online adjunct professor for 13 and a half years.
Okay. That's interesting. All right. So, what inspired you to write your memoir?
Well, I married 4 times, and when I moved in with my fourth husband in Fredericksburg, Virginia, I was gazing out of the window one day and just thinking back on my life and how many times I had moved. When I finished counting, it was 37. And I decided to write my story just to share some of my experiences with people and then to just sort of explore for myself what all the moving had done to me, how it had it affected me.
Okay. Now, that sounds like a lot of traveling
I,
and a lot
I
of.
Yeah, let me also say that I wanted to just share with my family the history because I was the firstborn grandchild and I wanted to leave that behind for them. And I just wanted to make a statement that we lived, we were here, because hopefully my book will appear in somebody's library for centuries to come.
Okay. All right. Now, with all that traveling and all this experience and education and teaching, are there any sub themes within the book?
Well, yeah, there is a sub theme of music, of who my biological father was, and the loss that was in my life because of all of the moving.
Okay. Now you say music. Can you give us a little bit more depth or a little bit more insight on what you mean by when you say there's a sub thing of music in the book?
Yeah. Well, Pearlie, I am a doo-wop R&B blues music kind of person. I love all music, really. I can listen to opera, symphony, whatever. But my music of choice is R&B and blues. It's just a theme that just sort of runs through my life. I can play music and just lose myself, forget about all the loss in my life from the moving or whatever else is going on. I can just put music on and just lose myself and forget all about anything else that's going on. So that's the theme that has just played in the background of my life.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. I'm still going to be on this topic of music. Is there any what brought you into this rhythm and blues culture?
Well, I think as a young person, I lived in West Virginia for about 6 months. And my grandfather had a stepchild named Hazel. And Hazel was a teenager. She was in high school and she would listen to music every night. There was a station called Randy's Record Mart, and it pretty much was the only station that played black music um, back in the day. And you could only hear it after all of the other stations went off. Then you could listen to Randy out of Gallatin, Tennessee, and she would play that music every night. I had to sleep in the room with her. And that's when I learned about R&B music, because before then my mother wouldn't let me listen to anything but gospel. But since I had to sleep in the room with her, I had no choice. I had to listen to it. And that's how I found out about R&B music. This
Okay,
was
now I
19.
didn't read the whole book, but I read through it. My wife finished it, but I haven't read the whole book. But I scanned through it, and I know there's a mention about a group in here. Can you give us a little bit of insight on that group?
Well, you'll learn later on that I did write another book about the Orioles vocal group, and I found out that they, though it's arguable, started this music called R&B. What's not arguable is that there was no such music before R&B music being music. It was called sepia. Um, uh, uh, had let's see what else it was called. Sepia music primarily. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it had no name until there was an interview of Sonny Till, the leader of the Orioles vocal group, and he said, I sing a little rhythm, sing a little blues," and that is how the term R&B came about. The guy who was interviewing him from Billboard Records went back and coined the term R&B, and so from then on, most of the black music fell under that category.
Okay, now can you recall or tell us the name of one or two songs that the Orioles made?
Well, the Orioles made a song called "Crying in the Chapel." That was their biggest hit. And, you might remember the song from Elvis Presley's gospel album. I think it was 1959. He sang it on his album. And the song had originally been a country and western song that the Orioles, changed the melody and changed it. It sounded more like a love song, but it was really a gospel song. And the song went, "You saw me crying in the chapel."
Hmm.
And so that's the song that most people will remember.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that little bit of history of rhythm and blues. That's a plus. Okay. So let me ask you this: who is your target audience? Who are you trying to get this? What message and who you're trying to get this message out to?
Yes, my target market would be teenagers and adults who have moved, from place to place in their lives. And it doesn't necessarily have to be military moves. Most people think of the military when they think about moving, but
Hmm.
my dad was in the military, but the military moves in my life were about four.
Okay.
So And you'll have to read the book to see why, we moved or my family moved so much. But um, I think my audience would be teenagers and adults that have moved a lot in their lifetime. Additionally, people who are interested in the history of the metropolitan area. There's a lot of history in the book. There's also poetry in the book, and I pretty much just wanted people to know and to learn from my life.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Um, what else can I ask you? Let me see. What do you want people to gain from this book?
Well, I want people to gain from my book. Just they can gain a deeper understanding of their lives. When we learn about other people's lives, I think it helps us to better understand our lives and
Okay.
our world. Everybody's life has value. Every life has value. They have something to offer others. And I think the more we learn about each other, the better our lives become.
Okay. Um, have you written any other books? Well, you said you wrote a book about the Oreo.
Yes, I wrote the book of the Orioles that we discussed a little earlier. It's called The Orioles
Mm-hmm.
Second String Albert Diz Russell. I wrote that book in 2008 because he was the second string group of Orioles that carried on the music of
Okay.
the original group. The original group disbanded in 1953. Diz and I became very good friends, and I wanted to do something nice for him. So he said he had done just about everything else in his life. So I said, "Well, have you written your book?" And so he said, "No, I haven't done that." So I wrote the book of the Orioles. Diz, unfortunately, passed away in 2016, but he carried the music on until then.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, we appreciate
Well,
the
well,
few
wait,
minutes that you
hold
spared for
on
us.
one second. I do want to say that the main point, the most important point I want to make in my book is that though I've been sort of lonely inside most of my life from all of the moving, I realized that I was never ever alone. God is always in all of our lives, and he's there. All I had to do is reach out for him. So although I've been lonely, I've never been alone. God has been there always, always in my life. And prayer prayer is the key, or has been the key, to my survival.
Oh man, can I say amen to that? I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me see. How can people get your book? How can we? How can somebody purchase a copy of your book?
Yes. My if you want a book, I can mail you an autographed copy. Just send me an email and I'll tell you how you can get the book. You can pay by Cash App, you can pay by PayPal, you can send me a check. My email, and I'm going to spell it out for you. It's Dr. Rachel Clay at Comcast.net. That is D as in dog, Ara, another Ara, ACHELCLAY. That's Dr. Rachel Clay at Comcast.net. Yes, you
Okay.
can also
Well,
call me. My telephone number is 540 642 4234. Again, 540 642 822-4234.
Okay. Well, listen, we wish you all the success in the world with this publication. I'm going to finish reading it before the week is out. And what today is Friday, right? So I'm going to hurry up. But no, I plan. I don't have to work today. I don't have any clients today, so I'm going to try to do my best to finish it before the weekend is over. And again, Dr. Clay, we appreciate your time, your beautiful smile, your beautiful voice, and again, we wish you well. And I'm going to encourage everybody to contact Dr. Clay and purchase this book. If you can't keep up with what she said, you can feel free to reach out to us via email at Victory Anger Management, and that's victoryangermanagement@yahoo.com, and we will help get you in touch with Dr. Clay.
Yeah. Thank
Okay, so Dr.
you.
Clay, you enjoy the rest of your day, and again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me on, and thank you to the social media audience.
All right, everybody have a